taxpayers. It will be more expensive to file with tax courts than to pay extortion fees. What do we do?
I think when I was down there, Luz said that based on the survey among the people, among the taxpayer, they said, what do you think is the compliance rate of the people in your industry? And basically, I think the figure that came out was 20%. I think the recipe for not being harassed is make sure you pay the right taxes in the first instance. Because if you don't pay the right taxes, then that opens the door for the Bureau of Internal Revenue or whoever, even your own employees, to say that to give report that says that you did not comply. You did not issue official receipt, you did not record it properly, or you keep two books. But if your documents and the way you record it are proper, then they cannot do anything. I was also saying to Bill that, if you don't pay, if all of you don't pay, then nobody in the Bureau of Internal Revenue will harass you because they will have to harass all of you. And we're only 11,000 people and only 2,000 are doing the examinations. How can 2,000 people harass 700-something taxpayers? So that's basically what I said. And the other thing I said is that the trend shows that a lot of our people are opting for early retirement. And she was asking me why. And I said, well, because I think some of them, not all of them, some of them felt that there's no more added revenue that they can get while working with the BIR. So there are people who have opted for early retirement.
Next, another question from the floor. We laud your efforts at increasing collections and leveling the playing field, but the problem is also the complexity of the rules, which leads to subjectivity in interpretation, thus corruption.
That's something that we are trying to deal with. That's why we are trying to minimize BIR rulings and try to do it via revenue regulations, revenue memorandum circular, so that it's the same rule for everyone. You don't have to come to us on a per case basis. So basically, that's what we're trying to do, to minimize discretion. And the other thing is that's why we're doing this process of engineering and computerization, because at the end of the day, when you file your return and it generates that return, it tells you already what your taxes are. There's no discretion in it.
And another question is, while these efforts have been started at the national level, how are you making sure that these filter down to the provinces and the regional levels?
Well, first, when we are promoting people nowadays or moving people, it is really now strictly based on performance. Unlike before, where a lot of the movement and promotion were political and religious patronage, nowadays, yeah, it's political and religious patronage. Nowadays, we're following a strict rule of meritocracy. It is really dependent on how he performs vis-a-vis the goals that are given to them. And the other rule that we have set now is that's why we're doing the HRIS, so that all the evaluations, everything about the personnel is there, computerized, so that when a vacancy occurs, it will also give us a data of who are all the people that are qualified and we should consider. And I have also set a rule that everyone that qualified should be considered unless that person write a waiver and said that I don't want to be considered for promotion. So that, because one of the trick of the trade in government or even in private corporation is they only line up people they like. So now what we're doing is you line up everyone that's qualified unless that person says he does not want to be considered.
Okay, and we haven't quite forgotten that you were among those considered to be Chief Justice. Had you been appointed, what reform initiatives would have been left hanging?
The BIR?
Yes, in the BIR.
Well, all of these things that we are, I'm not saying that it will be left hanging, no. It's just that I'm sure my rule in life is that nobody is indispensable. No? So, organization-wise, it should be also that way. No? So, because we don't know, tomorrow, I can be walking down the street and something can happen to me. So somebody should be able to step up. No? So I wouldn't say that there will be things that will be left hanging. It's just that I want to make sure, if I can, since I started it, that I should be able to complete majority of it.
Okay, I think there are no more questions unless there are others from the floor. Follow-up questions? Yes. How will you ensure that the revenues reported by mining companies are correct or truthful? Transparency of revenues in the extraction industry is very difficult. According to other countries' experience, revenue is critical since government gets a share.
Well, I guess the thing that we're doing now is we want to enroll in EITI, no? Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. I believe there are a lot of rules and best practices there, no, that we can adopt. The other thing that we have to do is we have to coordinate with the Bureau of Mines and also the Bureau of Customs, no? Because if it's floating in the Philippines, then that's not really, we can eventually capture it. No? It's when it is exported out that's the problem. So we are coordinating with the Bureau of Mines and Bureau of Customs.
Okay.
Of course, it's a problem. I mean, even other countries are having that problem.
And this is actually more a comment than a question. After all these years of having to deal with the BIR and its examiners, I am of the firm belief that everyone below the level of commissioner must be retired. This must be worth taking out a loan with the World Bank.
You know, I always say this, no. I believe 90% of the people in the Bureau of Internal Revenue are competent and 90% of them have integrity. Maybe 10%, 9% are those people whom kung makakalusot, lulusot. Then there's 1% that's really hard-headed. No? In this instance, what we need also is help from the taxpayer. If you have a complaint, please write us and give us a little detail so that we have something to work on. And secondly, don't get frustrated if you don't hear from us. Because the way the investigation goes, especially against our people, our own people, is we have to give it to the ombudsman. So when we give it to the ombudsman, the ombudsman will have to do, normally, I have a live case, no, that there's a lot of information that was given to me, which I tried to verify, no? But the bank secrecy law basically prevents me from going to the bank and getting those information. But that's really the best way to determine whether this person is corrupt. However, the ombudsman has the authority to do that. That's why when we have report like this and we try to more or less verify whether there's some semblance of truth, no? And then if we feel that there is, we transfer the case to the ombudsman. Mm-hmm. Then the ombudsman do their investigation. Do not get too impatient. No? It's not, an investigation takes a while. We have to gather documents, no? Before we can file it in court. So you have to be patient, and you have to give us a little bit detail, no? if you really want to help us address corruption.
And I don't know if this question is being asked in view of the debates on the RH bill. In the interest of transparency, are there initiatives taken towards taxing the income of the church?
I believe that when you have to amend the Constitution. So, and I believe the President already said he's not for the amendment of the Constitution at this time. It's not a matter of whether we want to tax them or not, or whether we can amend the National Internal Revenue Code. We have to amend the Constitution.
All right. Any final words before we close your session?
Well, my request to everyone is that, first and foremost, if you pay the right taxes, then our people should not have any reason to harass anyone. Now, if they do, please inform us, no? Give us as much detail as you can, then we will be conducting some investigation. Now, one advice I always tell my friends and my relatives is this, no? If you want to pay the right taxes, please complain to me. Because if you complain to me and I investigate, of course, the bottom line is you pay the right taxes. No? I will not allow any under-the-table payment. No? And if any one of our people does that, then we will throw the book at them. But sometimes people don't want to complain because they don't want to pay the right taxes. Because it's cheaper not to pay the right taxes. So you have a choice. If you pay the right tax, then there should be no reason to be harassed. If you don't want to pay the right taxes, you open the door for harassment. And if you really want to put a stop on harassment, please complain so that we can deal with it. Because unless you complain, how will we know who among our people is doing what? I cannot go out and fire 2,000 people because of one complaint. No? So there's due process. So that's my request to everyone.
This is just a last comment, I guess. No? Learning from the experience of PEZA and Director General De Lima, the question is, what is your fax number so that vicious examiners can be reported directly to you? Is there such a system?
Yeah. You can email me at kim.jacinto-henares@bir.gov.ph. You can phone me at 981-8880 up to 82. You can fax me at 925-1789.
Okay,
So,
did you get that?
I can repeat it. You can email me at kim.jacinto-henares@bir.gov.ph. You can call me we have a call center agent right in my office. No? So you can call me at 981-8880. She will, up to 82, she will do the incident report. You can fax me at 925-1789.
Okay. Thank you very much, Commissioner Henares. Okay, one last time. That number is 981-8880-82. And fax is 925-1789. Or you may email her at kim.jacinto-henares@bir.gov.ph. Okay, at this point, I would like to call on Ms. Sherisa Nuesa to explain the judicial reform initiative that will be launched in the presence of our keynote speaker this afternoon. I'm turning over the floor to Ms. Nuesa.